Warning: this feature contains scenes of large, shitty, intrusive hair which may anger some audiences. Viewer discretion advised. Also, this kid needs a fucking haircut.
Today, guys, I'm going to show you some of my favourite Blu-ray picks of my collection, and just a Blu-ray update of recent DVDs and Blu-rays that I've got. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so first off, I'm just going to go through some of my favourite Blu-ray picks. They may not necessarily be my favourite films, but they're my favourite Blu-ray sets and collections. And I'm just going to skim over them before I go on to an update of what I've done. And in a later video, I'm going to go into some depth of my favourite films and which ones over there are my favourite films on Blu-ray. But first I'm going to go through this really nice collection of DVDs I've got. Now there's a pile here, and they're part of a set which I'm not quite sure what the name was. But what we have here is we have, at the top we have Taxi Driver, which is, you know, words cannot be said to describe how fantastic it is. We have Stand By Me as well, which is yet again, you know what, none of them need explaining about how fantastic and brilliant they are. Easy Rider, and as you can see, they're all in this like really nice set as well. Like they're all numbered. You can't really tell on the side because it's a bit blurry, but they're all kind of numbered, and they're part of like a giant overall arcing set. One of my favourite films of all time, probably apart from Jaws, my favourite Spielberg film, and that is Close Encounters. I absolutely love this film to death, and it's given me a strange obsession with mashed potato. So, and now a lot of people argue that their favourite Kubrick film is probably stuff like 2001, and oh God, I've just gone blank. Now I didn't cut there to look at IMDb. What would that be? But no, you know, stuff like 2001 and A Clockwork Orange. But my favourite, my favourite Stanley film is got to be Doctor Strangelove. It's a film that you'll either laugh hysterically to, or you just won't laugh at all. And for me, I laugh all the way through. I think it's a pretty near perfect piece of cinema. And finally, we have a film which I've yet to see, but I've been meaning to for quite a long time, and that is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And yet again, it's in this nice, and they're like that as well. They're all slip covers, and it's a really nice set, and I really want to finish it. Another set that I picked up really cheap a couple of weeks back, and this was because of my love for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and never really getting around to seeing the originals, is the Planet of the Apes collection on Blu-ray. And it's a 5-disc set, and it's quite nicely presented. You've got them all there. I've watched them all, and I can honestly say that my favourite is probably the second one actually, which is probably an unusual choice, which is Beneath the Planet of the Apes. And I think it's a film that you should definitely check out because it's an extremely underrated film. But yeah, I'm really glad that I got this because they're all pretty much fantastic films. They have their flaws, but it's an enjoyable series, and I can see why a lot of people love Planet of the Apes. Now this is a film that I've yet to see, but I've heard nothing but great things about it, and I thought, you know what, it's on Blu-ray and it was pretty cheap when I saw it, so I grabbed it, and that is The Big Lebowski. And it comes in this really nice like book type box. So inside you've got like all these different pages. Oh, high up. You've got like all these different pages, you know, like explaining the film, etc. And at the back, digital copy, and then you've got the 2-disc. I think it's a really nice way to present some films, especially if you're a really big fan of them, because it's a really nice little souvenir to have alongside your film. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching this, and pardon me, I'll get round to it at some point and I'll let you know what I think of it. I thought I'd quickly showcase a couple of my favourite films on tin case as well. And first of all, we have probably one of my favourite westerns, and that's because of the direction that the Coen brothers take, and that's True Grit, and it's in this really nice kind of, I was going to say plastic, really nice, you know, metal tin case. Metal tin case, that's not right. Yeah, no, tin, you know what, you just ignore me. And and then inside we have a nice, if I move this crap, we have a nice cover and 2-disc set. And then on the back you also have a really mean looking, I've gone completely blank today. And by looking at the front of the box, I've found out that it's Jeff Bridges, which I should have known in the first place. Another one that I've had for quite a while, and it's a beautiful tin case, and I absolutely love it, is Scarface. And it's in this really nice, like, bright red, shiny case, so to speak. And yet again on the inside, if you just take out the disc here, if I can do it here, it's got pictures in the inside as well, which I always think is a nice touch, because it just adds to the overall Arkin collection and makes it more neater and presented more well. So yeah, this is another one of my favourites. Now this film here, it's not necessarily my favourite tin case, but it's one of my favourite films, and the fact that I got it on tin case just made it all the more better. And that's Drive, and it's quite a nice presented cover art, and down the side it's still got like the neon letter, and the only problem is on the inside it's not exactly exciting, it's just the disc, but still I'd rather have a tin case than just a plastic Blu-ray box. Right, now these are two DVD sets that I got recently, and they were pretty cheap actually, and the first one is just a collection of films by one of my favourite directors, which is David Lynch. And I really like David Lynch, and I really think all of his works kind of got unique and his own stamp on it at the same time. And this one includes The Elephant Man, Mulholland Drive, and Inland Empire. And I'm really glad they didn't include Lost Highway, because that's one of my favourite David Lynch films, along with Dune, which I think is really underrated. In fact, if you've never seen Dune, you should probably definitely check it out, because it's an underrated piece of art. But yeah, that's a really nice set. And I've also grabbed at some point this limited edition Kingdom of Heaven extended cut box set, and it's actually limited edition. It's got like a little number there, which you can't see. And it's in this really nice 4-disc collector's set, which I'm going to have to open quite sexily. Da-na-na-na-na. But yeah, that's quite, yeah, again presented quite nicely, and as you can see, I've just dropped something out of it, which is these production stills, which are still in there. Cellophane, which I will get out one day, and I'm thinking about probably, framing them, because I think they look quite nice. Now I found this box set on Blu-ray the other day, and it was dirt cheap. It was about 15 quid, so I just could not refuse picking it up, and that is the Spaghetti Western trilogy. And I thought, for 15 quid I am not missing up on an opportunity like that. But the only problem is it's not exactly an exciting box. It's kind of just a normal, just kind of empty box, and it's just got the actual 3 Blu-rays inside. And I would have liked it if there was some sort of, just a better design to it overall, but, I could settle for that, and I'm really glad that I've got these on Blu-ray now. Now this one I picked up quite a while ago, because despite the fact that 3 of the films in this collection are complete, well, I wouldn't say pants, but it's like having sex with a woman and then never wanting to call her again. That was that's a really horrible interpretation, but that is how I would describe the first 3 films of the Star Wars, and by the first 3 I mean the prequels, not the original trilogy. And it's a really nice set, and I think you've probably seen it on YouTube if you're interested, but it comes in this nice, like that, and then it's presented more like a kind of book, and you just kind of flick between them all, like so. And I think it's a really nice set, and I like it. And this is one of my absolute favourites, and I will never probably part with this, because it's a really beautiful set, and it's a Harry Potter limited edition set. You can, again it's too blurry so I don't know what I'm showing you, but it's this limited edition set, and if we open it up, it kind of has like a portrait from the 8th film just across there, quite shiny as you can see. And then inside you have it kind of set into 2 like volumes, years 1 to 5 and then years 6 to 7 plus some special extra discs. But what it also comes with as well is this really nice upside down book, and inside it's set out like Harry Potter's family book, and some of the pages even fold out like that, close. I think it's a really well crafted set, and this book just completely goes with it, and even the pictures themselves, they are glossed. So even, I don't know if you can tell, you can just tell it's shiny a bit. And then it's just a really nice addition to a overall really lovely set out box. And finally I want to show you my favourite Blu-ray set of all time. This cost me about 70 quid, and I don't regret a single penny of it, because it's absolutely a beautiful set for a pitch perfect film and one of my favourites of last year. And it's a set for Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and it's got this. It's basically a book in the shape set out as a book, and then you open it up, and it has this lovely little extra thing here. You open that up, you've got a nice diagram, and you've got the book here. So you take the book out, and then you've got a little notebook here, and it's got the title of the film on it as well, which I'm not sure if you can tell that. And then it's also got a nice little edition of a nice little set of cards as well. So if you fancied playing the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy card game, that would be advisable. Now you're wondering, that's all well and good, where's the Blu-ray? That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh well, you know, 70 quid for the film, and I'm kind of lacking one thing, the film. Well, I'm about to blow your mind, because this here, it opens. I know, if your cock hasn't blown off now, it never will. And then there's a drawer, and then you can pull the drawer out, and then what do we have here? Oh, we have some lovely, at the top, production stills, like nice little black and white production stills, which really, I really want to put in a frame. My hair is getting in front of my eye. And yeah, they're glossed as well, so they're really nice. And then alongside that as well there is actually, if I can ever get it out, a cell from the film, like an actual film cell, which if I can try and find some light to put it up to, yeah, you can just see it there, and it's got authenticity on it and everything, so that's going to be worth a few bob in years. And then underneath that is the actual discs, you know, Blu-ray, DVD, and then underneath that is the soundtrack. So overall, I think that is probably one of the best Blu-ray sets I've ever seen. And I think a lot of work went into that, and I'm so glad I parted with my money for it. And if you've never seen Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, it is beautiful, it is a work of art, it is what cinema is all about. So please, please check it out if you haven't. And finally, I've got a little bag of goodies that I got today, and some more down there, so I'm going to take you through a quick look at what I've brought. Okay, so I'm really trying to finish off my David Cronenberg collection, because he's like my favourite director of all time. So today, for 50 pence, I brought Rabid, which is a film that I quite enjoy by David Cronenberg. It's not one of his best, but it is far from one of his worst. And it is it's a really interesting story, because David Cronenberg really puts ideas into his horror films. It's like how science fiction has ideas, David Cronenberg has ideas and themes in his horror films, so definitely check out Rabid if you've never seen it. Another film which I wanted to see at the cinema, and I never got round to it because I'm not sure why, I just kept putting it off. So I grabbed it today for about 15 quid, and that's The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Marigold, I forgot my flipping, I almost said the F word, ooh. But yeah, I really wanted to see this film. Pardon me. And the cast is just phenomenal. I mean, Maggie Smith, Judi Dench, Bill Nighy, Tom Wilkinson, Penelope Wilton. I mean, this is like an orgy of old people in a good sense, and I'm just really looking forward to popping this in. No pun intended. Another film that I brought, which I really disliked in cinemas, but I really wanted to enjoy it because it was probably my most anticipated film of the year, alongside Prometheus. So I thought I'd give it another go because I really want to love this film. And that is John Carter. Now, I think we all know our opinions on John Carter, but it's a film that it just does. I want it to do so much more right than it does. So I'm gonna sit down one night and I'm gonna watch it again, and I'm gonna have a second opinion on it, hopefully, and hopefully it'll be better than the first time. Okay, I'm gonna run through these three pretty quickly because they're pretty much for the same reason, but they're all David Cronenberg films as well, which I managed to pick up on DVD today. We've got The Brood, which is a really intense film, actually. I watched it a couple of years back and I remember it really freaking me out. And I actually think this is one of my favourite Cronenberg films, The Brood, because it's a really intense film, and I really suggest that you check it out. Another one that I got was Crash, which is a very underrated David Cronenberg film. I mean, I've not heard many good things about this film at all, but I love Crash, and I think it's a really well executed film, and one of Cronenberg's best as well. So yeah, Crash as well, definitely check that out. And finally, this isn't one of Cronenberg's best, but even Cronenberg at his worst is better than most, so I thought I'd grab it just to complete the collection. That's The Dead Zone, and it's not his best, but Christopher Walken adds a really fantastic central performance to this and really makes it worthwhile despite the flaws that it has. And I really suggest that you check that out as well because it's David Cronenberg. Right, and I'll just finish off with these 3 Blu-rays that I got. One of them was Animal House, which is a film that I've never actually seen, but it's got Kevin Bacon in, and Kevin Bacon is the best actor of all time. You can argue that fact with me to the grave, because it will always be my personal... Ow, that really hurt. It will always be... I've just winded myself. It will always be... He will always be... Oh, for God's sake, my words today! He will always be one of my favourite actors. No, he will be my favourite actor, and Animal House is a film that... I think it was his first film, actually, and and I've heard great things about it. I know he doesn't have a major role, but I thought, you know what, that he didn't have a major role in Frost Nixon either, and look how that turned out. So I'm going to check that out. I also got one of my favourite films of the year in a really nice tin case as well, which I haven't cracked open yet, but I will do eventually, and that's Rampart, and it's in this really, you might be able to tell it's in a really nice tin case, really nice cover, so I'm really looking forward to getting this and adding it to my collection as well, because Rampart it's a brilliant film, and it is pretty much stolen by Woody Harrelson, who can do a variety of roles and emotions, and surprised me to the extreme in this film about how gritty his character is. So if you haven't seen Rampart, definitely check that out. Finally, a film that everyone loved, and I don't think I loved it as many other people. I think it's a really heavily flawed film, and I think it's more relevant for today's society than it will be in 10 years, since most of the in-jokes in this film are about today's society, and that is 21 Jump Street, and it's also in a nice little slipcover as well inside this cellophane, and you know what, slipcovers are always a bonus. So yeah, 21 Jump Street, it's a fun little film, but I don't think it's going to be timeless or classic or anything. So yeah, this has been a bit bumpy and my hair's been a bit intrusive, but I just thought I'd go through some of my Blu-rays and DVDs to kind of bridge the gap between now and my next review, which will be next Wednesday, of The Dark Knight Rises. So I hope you liked it. I hope I improve on more clear on my thoughts of my collection in the future. But yeah, I think the next time I'll do it, I'll talk about my favourite films on Blu-ray. And as usual, if you want to subscribe, then you can just click right here to subscribe.